think on this regulatory issue, I think the Alan's talk about this, I see it as this sort of novel ontology, social or ecological ontology of AI, being in the cloud and the globalization and the dynamics of that. You've got whole new regulatory sort of potential spaces which are not institutionalized and may not be. How do you globally regulate, the cloud? And so our institutions, a lot of them are not set up and organized to do that effectively yet. So some is, but I think the ontological challenges are significant for how we try to understand that.
I also have a comment about the trust thing, actually about all three of your points, which is from my site. I think having been in the company with the engineers and data scientists, I really got to see that they don't really even know what their AI is going to be for, because many of them are still developing it. And what I found in the ag space, because the scale of the problem is so large, oftentimes they kind of miscalculate what they can even do with the data they have, because they're making it while users are still using it. So they're still trying to figure out what it's going to be for. Specific example is in my case, the company was originally targeting farmers. The idea was that all this analytics would improve farmers' profitability. They know better how to irrigate, what chemicals to use, when to plant things, when to harvest things, because they have kind of this living map of the world food supply. The issue is that over time, after a few months, they really quickly realized they had such messy data. There's no real way they could help the farmers. But they still collected the farmers' data, and what they ended up doing was kind of tailoring their AI to solve problems they could solve, which was for the regulators and the insurers and the hedge fund traders who wanted to see how their crops are growing. So the information they provided was not enough for the farmers to make better decisions, but it was enough for the traders to make better decisions. And so they kind of, just redirected kind of their AI goals.
I've seen that a lot in the healthcare setting too. And one theory that's helpful is the theory we have around pivoting. And I think it's interesting to think about how pivoting will look different with AI than it has in past kinds of technology development.
Yeah, I agree. I think the work of Shabana Mahoney, right, around pivoting is interesting to look into. You've also seen it, Kevin, in your field site, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I find it really interesting, this concept of pivoting, because it occurs to me that the future of work, rather than being created sort of pre-thought and deliberatively, is actually being created through the various pivotings of startups, right? And sort of a market. Markets are essentially creating the future of work to a large extent, right? In ways that are creating unintended and unintended consequences to Aaron's presentation a little bit. As we're living through it, we're kind of just cobbling it together a little bit, which is interesting.